welcome back to my podcast. It's been a while, but at someone's request, at one of my mutuals, one of my friends, one of my sisters, name, she requested I make a longer form video about um or podcast episode about how men and boys socialize themselves to be able to like take things away from women and girls by lying and by omitting things. Men have curated a society. We'll just jump straight into it because I don't really think we need a preface. But I hope everyone's doing good. But men have created a society, a dynamic within society where they teach each other and boys subsequently of how to garner and take and also like drain, strain things out of women and girls as best as they can. I think the word I was looking for was extract because it's like a leech. You put a leech on a human body, it's gonna be sucking out all the blood. That's literally what it's like. But because we live in a society and we live in a world now where most countries, I guess, pretty much allow women to do what they want. Pretty much, even though men and boys try their best to get in the way of that. Doesn't mean just because you have rights, doesn't mean that every single man or boy respects the rights of women and girls. And I'll remind everyone, our rights were always there. They're just mad they have to acknowledge that. They're just mad that they can't get away with things as much as they used to. But I feel like it's getting worse and worse every single day simultaneously. It's quite a paradoxical kind of conclusion, but I still feel like I can prove that. But that is for another day. So today we are going to be talking about how, specifically, the example I used in the video I made on my TikTok page, um, was men and boys have created this kind of dynamic where they lie to women and girls in order to get them to have sex with them. And I feel like a lot of people really do not want to acknowledge that simply because you might either have to reckon with the fact that a man or a boy has done this to you, or as a boy and a man, you probably have to reckon with the fact that you did that to somebody else. And I feel like a lot of people would rather just keep quiet about these things in society because it happens so often. We don't want to sit there and question it when we have quote unquote bigger fish to fry. But the thing is, when we're talking about bigger fish to fry, if you're not even frying a little bit of tuna, you're not even frying a sardine. What do you mean we're supposed to be talking about the salmon? But meanwhile, the salmon, the tuna, the mackerel, all of that, guess what it is? It's still fish in it. It's still fish and it still stinks. When we talk about these kind of dynamics, a lot of people like to downplay it simply because there are bigger fish to fry, as I have just said. But the thing is, if we're not even talking about the little things that these guys are doing, the little things, aka coercion, asking a woman or a girl, can we just come on, like think about it? Come on, let's just do it. Oh, we love each other though. I know you said no, but come on, let's just do it. Oh, I'll just do this a little bit. If you don't like it in 1 minute, I'll stop, kind of thing. She said no. But the thing is, men and boys don't curate themselves. They know how to. And look, to be honest, I'll give it to people who raise boys and men. I do actually believe most men and boys are taught and were taught to respect a no. The thing is, once you find out that these boys and men didn't respect the no, you don't do much to punish them. I think that's where the problem is. So a lot of us as women and girls, we have stories of men and boys when whatever age you were, sleeping with someone for the first time, and then suddenly, and I say maybe like in the modern context, a lot of men will do this thing where they will message you at every hour of the day. They will message you. The replies are very quick, very succinct, and they will answer every question you want. They'll respond to you. The energy will be high. Then you end up, however long it takes to, and you sleep with each other, and then after the fact, suddenly he remembers he has a job. Suddenly he remembers he's busy. Suddenly he remembers humans have, dedication, things to do, have errands to run. Suddenly he's remembering that he has a job, he has a hobby, he has places to go, places to be, people to see, all of that. And you're questioning yourself and you're wondering, if you had a job this entire time, and if you had a hobby and you have friends and you had responsibilities, You didn't act like that before, but you're acting like that now. It's because he's gotten what he wanted from you. And that's the unfortunate truth, but that's just the fact of the matter. And they think that it's okay. They think it's okay to act like this. And that's where the problem is, isn't it? I feel like that's the reason why a lot of women are upset because they feel like they've been got. And theoretically, yes, you have. And that's the way the dynamic is supposed to work. That's the way society is supposed to be for women and girls. We wake up every single day as female humans and as femmes, people, minorities, as people, the LGBTQ plus community, if I identify as a woman, as female, as a girl, right? You get this a lot, is the kind of socialization we're supposed to receive because they actually want the world to work like this. You're wondering why men and boys do actually know that you are people too, and then you're wondering why they treat you like that. This is the way the world is supposed to be. Let's remember that. We have to acknowledge that. It's not a nice realization, but it's the truth. You're wondering why he found it so easy to throw away everything you had because you had sex now, and now he realizes he doesn't want to be with you, when you should really be acknowledging the fact that that is exactly how he wanted it to go. It's sad, it's unfortunate, it's not very nice, but this is the way it is. This is the way it is for people, and this is the way it is for specifically women and girls. When we question these things, I think you actually want men to see you as people. And the thing is, they do see you as people, but they also see you as people they are supposed to get things from. I think that's where a lot of women and girls fall short of acknowledging the fact that, yes, we all know we're human beings, but men and boys have curated a dynamic where women and girls are the people who these things happen to. Because if they were to turn this behavior in each other, suddenly it's wrong. Suddenly it's bad. Suddenly, oh, you're not supposed to do this. Suddenly it's wrong. Suddenly you can't do this to people. It's inhumane. It's this, that, and the third. And then you realize the reason why they can do it to you, the reason why they feel comfortable doing it to you, is not just because women will accept it. It's not just about that. It's because this is the way society is supposed to work. People have taught them. People have said it's okay that you act like this. It's okay to lie to women. It's okay to lie to girls and say, "Oh, I love you, and we're gonna date, and we're gonna be together." You'd be picking up baby names, and you'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna live here, and this, that, and the third. Oh, well, you want to live in Cornwall too? Oh, I want to live in Cornwall too." And then you realize after he slept with you that all of that was just to get in your pants. All of that was just to give you a false sense of security, make you feel as though he's a normal human being who cares about people, and maybe it just didn't work out. The reason why men say women gatekeep sex and the reason why they say they gatekeep relationships is not because they are trying to find their wife. It's not because they're trying to see whether or not you have compatibility in that. It's to sleep with as many women as possible, and it's to weaponize marriage against women and girls, because we all know how most women and girls are raised to basically say and think and feel that marriage and being a mother is the pinnacle of your life as a woman. Meanwhile, they bully women who have jobs, bully women who have ascended in their occupations, who have received promotions, who are at the top of their jobs, at the top of their pay scale. They hate women like that. They hate women who get degrees. Now they're calling degrees useless. The reason why is because you're not just waiting around for them to bang you. That's it. They don't want to make love to you. They want to bang. They want to fuck. They want to hit. They want to crack. They want to bend. They want to break. All these nasty ass words. So basically, just describe that you are the gender. We're supposed to concentrate our violence and our bitterness, our angriness. We're supposed to concentrate all this bad behavior that we would never do to men and boys onto you. And if you don't accept that, that means you're a broken woman, you're a bad woman, and you're just like making a mountain out of a molehill. Because if women and girls stand up and say, I don't like this dynamic, you lied to me, you're basically a rapist, you coerced me. And if I knew you weren't going to be serious, I wouldn't have slept with you. If we come out and say those things, men and boys are probably going to have to be held accountable. And how in God's green earth can you hold men and boys accountable? How would you do that? How would you do that? That's really mean. You're saying that boys and men should say sorry and feel bad about what they've done? Why would you do that? I think a lot of people hate that. A lot of people hate the fact that a lot of men and boys have done these things. Meanwhile, women and girls, the entire time I've told you that men and boys, right, they don't have any interest in seeing women and girls as people. It's horrible because I feel like most of us have been there, messing with this guy and you're already and I feel like a lot of women and girls do this, you're already imagining a future with them. You're picking up baby names, this, that, and the third, and the conversation is flowing. And then you agree to meet up, and then suddenly, if you don't want to sleep with him and he lets you not sleep with him, suddenly he doesn't want to talk to you anymore. Suddenly there's no chemistry. He blocks you, this, that, and the third. And if you do end up sleeping with each other, suddenly he doesn't want to talk anymore. The replies get slower and slower until it fizzles out. This is a tactic boys and men teach each other because they need to get and get and get. It's like a competition. It's like a dick measuring competition. It's just a pissing contest to see how many women and girls they can sleep with until certain time, maybe around their 40s. They think they want to settle down. They settle down with one woman, have a bunch of kids, probably cheat on her, probably get a mistress. A lot of men, and this is the reason why they're very upset with us for pointing these things out, is that we do honestly believe they think that there are some women who deserve to just be slept with casually, and then there are women to be wived. And if these wifed women dared go out and do what their husbands are doing, suddenly we're talking about how can you do this? How can you do it? Meanwhile, men and boys have been plotting to do these things since they were young. And that's why a lot of people are afraid of men and boys traveling in packs, traveling in groups, because when they're in groups, they don't think for themselves. They have a group leader who probably listens to a bunch of nonsense on the internet, and then he goes around and teaches his boyfriends about how he thinks. And that's why a lot of men and boys go around blowing up their relationships. Men who are married, who are husbands, they just start suddenly out of the blue being mean to their wives, and then the wives are confused because they don't know where this behavior came from. The thing is, let's look at the facts. It is basically you being a rapist. If you have to convince someone to sleep with you, first of all, and then second of all, if you are also a rapist, if you have to coerce someone, you raped someone, you raped her. That's how it is. And it's really, really, really sad that we have to sit here and try and convince people that that is technically what rape is. At the very least, we can call it coercion then. We'll call it coercion because that's what it is. Men and boys, like I've said, have curated a culture where it's okay to lie to women and girls to get what they want. Meanwhile, women and girls can't even leave out one piece of information without men and boys running with the story and making up their own story to fill in whatever holes they want to puncture into the very airtight story that women and girls tell. Because a lot of women and girls will say to men and boys specific things, and men and boys get to write whatever narrative they want, or this means this and this means that. Meanwhile, it actually and has always meant exactly what she said. Meanwhile, when boys and men can be as vague as they want, when they can blatantly lie to your face and people find out they're being vague, people find out they're being fake, and people find out that they're being liars, we're not allowed to actually accuse them of that, and we're not allowed to put a name or a label to the thing it actually falls under. And that is what the problem is. The dictionary, like definition of a lot of these things that they are doing is coercive. But because coercing someone, that's a very strong term. And that's the reason why a lot of people won't accept it for exactly what it is. That is what it is. Let's be honest with ourselves. This is what it is. That is what's going on. And women and girls are actually helping out the world by calling it out. Because we have said it before. The reason why men and boys haven't stopped doing things like this is because there are always women and girls who are willing to fall for it, or women and girls who just unfortunately fall for it. Because it's not like you choose to be with a guy who will say he hates you. You don't know he's going to say that. And it's sad because a lot of women and girls have actually spoken about the effects of this. And I actually have some examples from Reddit. And it's from the subreddit of Ask Women Over 30. So this woman said he ghosted me the day after we slept together. It was one of the most painful experiences because we were dating for almost 3 months and I'd already formed an attachment. See, note attachment. They do this and then everyone expects you to be okay after you form this emotional attachment. And this is why they don't like women who sleep with men and they're able to walk away too. They don't want you to be able to walk away. They want you to go crazy. They want you to be obsessed over these men. So continuing to read, I know he doesn't owe me an explanation, but I can't help but wonder why. Was I bad, unattractive? What was wrong with me? But well, according to men and boys, women and girls don't ever think about things like this. They don't ever have insecurities, and we live life on easy mode. Let's continue. Has this ever happened to any ladies here? How long did it take you to heal? What did you do to recover? And her edit says, this is more common than I thought. Horrible, just horrible. For those who are wondering, the sex was very good for him, but not for me. He finished twice, but I didn't finish at all because he didn't know what to do. I even gave him a massage afterwards. Oh my God. I feel sorry for this lady. And this is exactly what it's like. This is exactly what they want the dynamic to be like. They want the dynamic to be women serve, 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 give, 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 men take, 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 receive, receive, receive. And then they don't even want women to complain about it. They don't want you to acknowledge it. They want it to be so commonplace that this is just literally how it works, and women won't even have anything to say. And that's why they're attacking education now. They don't want women to be educated about their own bodies, because then they'd realize that orgasms feel good. And if they give education about women's bodies, they would know a lot of the things that are happening to their bodies aren't normal. They're not good and they're not normal. But meanwhile, for men and boys, it's the joys and the pleasure of sex and all this and that. It's all sunshine and rainbows for them. Meanwhile, they would never sit here and say something like this. So people in the comments saying, okay, I think when other people behave badly, it's really important to reframe the questions to ask yourself. Why would he date me for 3 months only to ghost me after we slept together? Is that all he wanted the whole time? What's wrong with him? And that he would leave me on for that long just to have sex one time, which is, yeah, okay, all right, cool, 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 cool. And someone says, so true. He knew what he was doing. I've met some wildly desperate men through, I don't know what OLD is, but anyway, it's true. A lot of men are desperate for sex, but they need to reframe it as women are desperate for sex, and then that's why they tie sex and marriage together for women. And that's why when women get married, they get mad at the wives who don't always feel like having sex with their husbands. They need to make some sex and the dynamics of sex with men and women. They need to make it something coercive. They need to make it like this. And that's patriarchy. That is what we're living under. And then another woman says, I have been as well. It's a terrible feeling. It's absolutely a reflection of them. When it happened to me in the past, I beat myself up for not waiting longer to have sex with them. But a friend pointed out that people can ghost at any point in time, so it's not productive to be mad at yourself, which is true. I don't remember how long it's taken me to heal because it's happened a few times. I roll. Just indulge yourself in some self care. Ice cream on the couch with good movies, manicures, massages, anything to treat yourself a little. Try to stay busy and active to distract yourself from obsessing. It will all get better in time. I've now realized the men who did this to me were terrible people for other reasons. So it's kind of nice they didn't waste any more of my time, which is a nice way of putting it. I think that's actually quite sweet. And then somebody else says, I'm also thinking that longer you spend with someone, the deeper the feeling are that will develop. So it might hurt even more to wait to have sex with them even longer, especially if you might be falling in love and not just like, that is a very good point. And that's how they get you. They want you to be attached. The more attached you are, and I know women do get attached quite quickly because they like to see the good in people and they exploit that. That is also what's going on here. It's not just coercion, it's exploiting. You're exploiting the feminist movement. You're exploiting sexual liberation by lying to women who want to see the good in men. They want to see the good in men and they exploit it. And this is why we have to be harsh on other women. And I don't like a lot of our deliveries, but you have to be harsh when it comes to this conversation because I really hate seeing women getting taken advantage of. Someone else says, excellent point. I think it all comes down to trusting yourself and knowing what's right for you and knowing what timing is right for you. Everything regarding love is a risk, which is true. And someone said, I just read that the dude is 42. Babe, no need to feel bad about it. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. This has nothing to do with you. He's an emotionally stunted man with a middle age crisis, which is a good way to look at it. So yeah, I don't think I'll read any more of these, but there is actually oh, there is one more. I dated a guy for a few months, was holding out because he had a mild cerebral palsy, and I was feeling out that new frontier. Met his whole family at a business party thing they hosted for their employees. Was a casino night. Met grandma and family, the whole shebang. Everyone loved me and was gushing on me. Went home and decided I was ready to have sex with him. Realized he had a micro penis. I rolled with it. No laughing on my part. Showed empathy and thought we had a good time. Then once he finished, he told me he wanted me to get the F out of my house. What? I was shocked. My heart dropped, knocked the breath out of me. He ghosted me, then randomly hit me up with the "Hey, wanna hang out?" text. No, no. That's enough. Okay, all right, that's enough, guys. That's enough. No. That's enough, guys. That's enough of that. Mm-mm. So I hope everyone has a great week. Happy Easter to everyone. That's we're not no. Let's not do that. You men will crumble. You men will crumble, especially you mental health. I'm a good guy. Girls were mean to me. Motherfucker. Oh my god, you guys. Oh, you will crumble one day. Oh my gosh. I wish I could like laser people with my eyes. Oh no, that's too much. That's too much. We're not reading the rest of that. That's not right. Yeah, so never blame yourself for what men choose to do to you. Yeah, coercion, obviously that's what it is. So yes, obviously, it isn't your fault, but they will do their best in this society to make sure you do actually accept it as your fault. That is the way the society that we live in is supposed to work. Where men and boys can literally just leave their homes and decide to rape a woman or a girl, and everyone just has to be like, you know what, this is something we just have to live with. We can't do anything about it. And worse, women and girls, you could have avoided it in some way. As long as we can fix our mouths to say women and girls could have premeditated, men and boys decided to be mean to them and bully them and commit crimes against them, then yeah, it should be okay, because this is the thing. This is the kind of dynamic that creates the idea that women and girls have to be scared of men all the time, and then we get blamed for that fear instead of men and boys stopping that fear being instilled in us. Because if women and girls do not have a healthy fear, if people in general do not have a healthy fear of the way the patriarchy works and all its misogyny and all its ideals and the factors and the dynamics that make all of us operate the way we do, if we are not allowed to talk about them, obviously, well, that's the kind of world they want us to live in. But if we can't question these things, where does that leave us? They don't want us to question these things. Where does it leave us if we don't choose to talk about it every single day? Where does that leave us? And I think we all know deep down where that leaves us, because it doesn't sound that deep because most of us has been through it, but it is that deep. Because then you're left questioning yourself as to why a man decided to lie to you and build this whole dynamic with you that makes you feel as though you finally found someone that is going to treat you with respect, that's going to love you, that is giving you everything you wanted emotionally and whatnot, over him to be a liar at the end of the day. So women and girls should assume that men and boys are lying to them all the time. And that's how a lot of women and girls are made fun of for having trust issues. Meanwhile, you are not a trustworthy person. And not only do you know that, you're proud of it. A lot of men and boys, they are proud to be people who don't have any pride, don't have any shame, and don't have any remorse for what they do. So if you don't feel that way, why on God's green earth, why on God's planet, why in my regime would I ever sit there and be like, men and boys are people, they're a delegation of people who want to change? You are not saying you want to change, you're not showing you want to change, you're not proving you want to change, you don't even think changing for the better is a good thing to do. You don't believe that is in your forte. It's not your ministry to be a good person to people. And I'm going to invent humanity for you. I'm going to project humanity onto you where you're not showcasing humanity. Am I stupid? So with that, final thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. And hopefully I can get a new one out. If anyone has any requests for podcast episodes, I am fully open to that. Yeah. So thank you for listening, and see you in the next episode. Have a great week, everyone.